Yo! What's up? Can you guys hear me okay? I decided to go live today. I'm not sure what's going on. I have problems when I'm at Starbucks sometimes. Not putting you down, Starbucks. Okay? I know they really support my show. But yesterday something weird happened. Of course, it's at the Starbucks where I had these same shenanigans. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. I was listening to Colin Quinn and Tim Dillon, and they were saying, yeah, everyone's a rat. It's a rat culture. That's what it is. It's always been that way, and this is what people don't understand. I did a short about, trying to praise guys like Frank Carlotta and this kind of stuff. I mean, we all know now that Giacomo from the Chicago mob, he was CIA. Now, most of these guys were run by CIA. And there's levels to intelligence. We know that. So the level that's been actively harassing me, these guys are at this really low level. Okay, this is police department into sheriff's department into these, I told you guys about these cringy FBI guys, like in David Fincher's Seven. And again, it's really difficult and tough when you realize it's coming from people you know. That's a really tough part. Like I said, I overlooked a lot of things for a lot of years. I just overlooked it. It's like, who cares? And to be honest with you, I don't really think that quitting drugs and alcohol is worth it. I think if you want to stay an alcoholic, then stay an alcoholic. If you want to smoke cigarettes, you want to kill yourself, we got every right to do that. And for me personally, I can't really see any benefit coming from it because of what happened with me specifically. I didn't check any of this. Like, my angle or anything. I just set it up and I hit record, do the best I can. So again, there's levels to this intelligence apparatus. And I was coming up here a couple days ago. All hail Starbucks, the great and mighty powerful Starbucks. Wish I was in a better mood. I don't know why I got so grumpy. I don't know. Woke up on the wrong side of the car seat, I guess. Yeah. So I'm coming up here and someone leaves a security jacket right on the garbage can. Okay, it's got a security patch on the arm. And right in that moment, when I could have picked it up, I was actually going to document it. I don't know, there's certain things that I might document, there's certain things that I won't. So I spend a minute thinking about things, several. And right at that moment, okay, parallel to me, here comes a guy with the same coat on. Okay, would have been easy for me to throw the coat on, go up to him, say, hey man, it's my first day. Okay? Can I put my bag somewhere? Oh yeah, he wouldn't have questioned it. I had the uniform on, right? Okay, so this will be me being a con man. All con means is confidence. Or all modern conveniences. It's really ugly when that brown just kind of drips down your clothes. So that was my cue to pick that coat up, because in my book I talk about pre-9/11 existence in Las Vegas. Okay, and that's when I was there. And it was a different world. You could just kind of walk in wherever you wanted to. There was no real security. And I talk about this, right? And I talk about it in a voice that's kind of childish and immature. And again, I'm not that person anymore, right? People change, things change. And if you're telling me, again, that something happens and you're never going to live that down, what is that? It just seems to me, once people graduate high school, right, that they stay at this particular level, right? This kind of high school mindset. And again, what's wrong with it? I don't know. Is there anything wrong with it? Maybe there's not. Like I said, maybe I should have stayed a drunk and an alcoholic. What was stopping me? Right? What was stopping me? Well, the game changes when you start using electronic warfare. That's a game changer right there. And they had no right doing it. And I talk about Bam Margera a lot. And Bam found himself somehow in Florida, just like me. And that's what they used on me. They used that electronic warfare. Okay? This is very sophisticated. And so they are getting Bam's money. Don't think there's any two ways about it. They're getting his money. He's going through the exact same thing that I went through in 2018. It's called inauthentic behavior. And all they have to do is blame the drugs and the alcohol. That's all they have to do. He's a drug addict. He's an alcoholic. They did the same thing to me. My own family went against me, and it's unforgivable. There's no more going back. That's what I keep trying to tell you. There's nothing there. Okay? You don't turn your back on your family. And they did years ago. Okay? But what does Bam have? Bam has a very supportive family. But not right now. Okay? It's a fight for the money. Now, who does he want to have a fist fight with? He wants to have a fist fight with Knoxville. Something's going on there. So when he says something, you're going to look at it like, well, he's crazy because, he's getting loaded or he's drunk. That's not true. He's actually speaking the truth, but it's being obfuscated. And it's being obfuscated through electronic warfare through his device. He has to get off social media. Now, what I did is I went to YouTube. I became YouTube exclusive. I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on Instagram, and I'm not on Twitter. Everyone thinks these are the biggest platforms. I have the biggest video platform in the world, is YouTube.
All tubes, all hail, all tubes.
Right? This is the biggest platform, so that's what you ushered me into, right? Just like Tucker Carlson. It'd be interesting if Steven Crowder went to Fox News and Tucker Carlson went to YouTube. I'd be like, holy shit. Well, they want Tucker Carlson to start his own platform. That's what they want. And I said before, if you think firing Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson on the same day is happenstance, then you're about as dumb as a box of rocks and a bag of hammers that broke it. In case you don't know, I came up in the BC era before computers, and I talk about this time because it's a very important time. I'm a memoirist because those are the books that I liked reading. I mean, aside, like when I was young, I liked reading, science fiction and all that stuff. And I still can't remember the guy's name. I tell you. 57 years old. So again, just to reiterate, I was down in Florida. I started displaying inauthentic behavior, just like Bam. This is electronic warfare, okay? You can look, now this is funny, but whatever, I can overlook it. That's why I make jokes all the time. You can take a look at my scroll history, okay? My scrolling history, is open to any of these Fed rats, right? And they'll just say, oh my God, you've been hacked by hackers, and that's why they vacillate. They try to say, oh, they must be coming from, Russia or something like that. Okay, they could say anything. It could be your next door neighbor. That's how I knew it was guys that I know, because it's not just going to be this random thing. There has to be people that you know. And like I said before, either you're too stupid or you're in on it. Either way, you're out. Okay, I came in on the east side of Detroit through fist fights with Robert Reban, with Lacey from Son of Sam. Okay, and I'll fist fight again. When I got my divorce, again, I'm in a fist fight right away. Okay, no worries. And that's why I put anytime, anywhere. Always take a look at my playlists in case they shut my channel down. Always take a look at my. But don't take a look at this. How's the framing, Your Honor? How's frame? All right. I'll get some new material though. So again, you can take a look at my scroll history, and you can see that when I got a $300,000 divorce, it was full tilt boogie on me. Everyone involved is a Fed rat. Every single one of them. Right? From my wife, anybody who was involved. Jason Clifton made sure that he was down in Florida to what now? To cause confusion. He had me come over to his house, and then he didn't show up. Right? And then so you have these levels. You have these layers. Someone's antagonizing you over here on the ground. Someone's antagonizing you over here. Someone's antagonizing you online. Okay? It was full tilt boogie. Then what happened? They started a grievance committee down in Ohio. Okay? When I went to Gasoline Alley on a fake shoot, because people in Michigan, when you run with Fed rats now, what these guys do is this. Take a look at To Live and Die in LA. They can't bust this guy because they don't have enough for the buy, and he knows that. So they have to actually commit a crime. They have to rob a bank to get a buy, so they can get in with this guy who they're trying to bust. It would be a major bust for them. Yeah, it's just all fucking swinging dick shit. We all know that, right? But it's a great film. Genius, blah, blah, blah. That's what these guys do. That's what they did in Michigan at the Gasoline Alley. They all threw in on it. These are Fed rats. At the shoot at Gasoline Alley, that phony from Almighty Lumberjacks of Death made sure that he was at. Okay? This is in the 04 era when I was actually writing songs. I was getting clean and sober, which I was with my wife, unfortunately. She wasn't worth it. And I was writing Linoleum Blown Apart. I started a whole new band. I started writing all new songs. I wasn't going back saying that there's going to be a fucking ALD reunion or a Son of Sam reunion or any of these fucking petty bands who I thought actually, were my friends. I was sadly mistaken. There is no more friendship anymore. There's only back to fistfights. You guys want to start all over again? We start over with the fistfights. All over again. Because that's how I started when I was a little fucking kid. And I don't appreciate people acting out for old models that I actually dated before. Boy, you guys got some nerve. So that's what these guys do. They'll throw in these Fed rats, police officers. Everybody's in the FBI, like not FBI, but everyone's in an intelligence connection. Everyone has a connection to intelligence now post 9/11. Okay, they all share this information. That was key. And part of that is targeting individuals. And I don't appreciate my mother working for the Detroit Police Department for 50 years. My dad, Anthony Lucricchio, working for the UAW for 37 years. You got some fucking balls, man. These motherfuckers. You got some balls. What? Sorry. I don't know where I was going with that. No, he does. No, seriously. They're quite impressive. Right? Again, these guys throw in on the money for this fake shoot at Gasoline Alley, because I've seen this before, right? Well, we can't entrap anybody. These cops get together, they put their own money in to entrap somebody. They get personally involved in getting rid of people, okay? And erasing them. That's what they did to me in 2018. They started another band called the Grievance Committee. They already had my stuff mailed to Disconnected Records. Hey man, if I was in Michigan, I was looking to get my gold shield, I'd know right where to go. You start at Disconnected Records. Boom, right? Bunch of fucking cowards. This is why I knew that my songs were superior. Because all they have to do, they set it up, right? They set the entire thing up. And this is Jason Clifton and whoever else he's involved with. And people like James Willard Musk should be fucking ashamed of themselves. Because these cowards were there on one of our last shows. And they were with the guys down in the 1515 Winder, writing White Power. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Why is it in America that the only race war that's going to happen is between African Americans and Peckerwoods? Why? There's other races, isn't there? Isn't there? Michigan is a melting pot. My family didn't look any different than the Greeks, the Italians, and the Mexicans surrounding us. This was all local scuttlebutt. And I go to get out of my neighborhood because I've seen my mom get in fistfights. My mother getting in fistfights, okay? My dad's nowhere around. She didn't marry Anthony until we were already older. We were in, even though we knew him, but she didn't marry him until, I was almost out of high school or whatever. It's like high school. I was done. I was moving out. I actually bought a hearse, a 72 Cadillac hearse. Okay. And again, Jim Hicks, Jason Clifton, these guys who are in my band, those songs are your songs. I don't understand it. You understand? They tried to bury me. They tried to steal the songs, have them go. They're probably being played on Spotify. Then they would go, the money would go to this other fake grievance committee. Why do I know this? Because the fake shoot that they set up with Fed Rats at Gasoline Alley, okay? It's the one where I talk about an asp, okay? This comes from St. Clair Shores, Michigan. This comes from when I went into a 7-Eleven and I was talking to a guy there, and oh my God. He's hitting the button under the thing. He's hitting the button under the thing, and then 2 cops show up. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. When you're in the 360 Panopticon, they're getting real-time surveillance, okay? Take a look at Steven Crowder. They're telling you who leaked this footage. I saw some guy, nobody knows who this person is, and they're like, well, it's the wife, it's this. They're getting this footage if you have a YouTube channel. If you have a YouTube channel or anything like that, you are under full tilt boogie surveillance. They're surveilling me no matter where I go. Okay? Sorry, I still have that amoeba in my eye. I talk about things that you can find on Wikipedia. That's how I did most of my research, through internet sleuthing. This is why I was targeted for things that I was looking at, and this is why I know that things like the inverse square law of light are actually correct. Things like refraction. You know what? Man, I was just reading somebody who was really into, it wasn't Voltaire, I don't know who it was, but they were into optics, and studying light, right? Obviously, Stanley Kubrick was. And we know Stanley Kubrick worked with NASA. That was the big story behind his film that he had to do instead of Napoleon. He went with another film with Ryan O'Neal. Can't think of it right now. Yeah, it's that one. It's the one that just came right to your mind, not mine. Okay. So when I was at Gasoline Alley, and I was introduced to Disconnected Records and all these phonies, then, right, we start shooting this film. There's no rehearsal, okay? No rehearsal at all. Number one, huge red flag. We got together a couple times to go over the script, that's it. And this is what these people do. They're so dumb. They shoot films the way they think films should be shot. But the fact was, this was an operation. Okay, this was organized operation. And I don't appreciate it. Like I said, the only crimes I ever committed, they were in Las Vegas, right? And I was doing it so I could go to jail to get stories, okay? I'm not under any contract with anybody. And I'm not, under any NDA. So I could talk about all this stuff. Like I said, I was dating a low-level ecstasy dealer in New York. Do you have any idea how much product I could have moved? Do you have any idea how much you could have set me up with some product and I would have been in Club Fed then? No. These guys are such morons. 30 years later, they're trying to get me busted in the Warren Tattoo Crew when I had already went to jail in Michigan. Like, what are you doing? I have an email. All my stuff is in the community section, guys. I set my case. I set the case up right there. I show you guys what's going on here. And it's very, very bizarre. I have an email from this Fed rat, Disconnected Records guy, whatever his name is, Josh Barnes or whatever the fuck his name is, right? Basically telling me, hey, I know you've just been to the drunk tank. Well, I've been to prison. These guys are wrapped up into this. They think it's the end all be all. They actually believe their own bullshit. Like I said, I was the first person to go to jail in my milieu. When I didn't go to jail, I didn't really give a fuck. I got community service. That's how lightly this female judge saw this case, because it was nothing. People were making a big deal out of this case 30 years later. It says more about them than it does me. Why? Because everybody's a fucking Fed rat. The shoot at Gasoline Alley that I'm telling you about, this is the 04 era. I'm actually writing songs. I'm going on auditions. Again, the last audition I went on, aside from the one that I allegedly booked at Gasoline Alley, and then all of a sudden they switched it around and turned it into a Fed rat operation, I'm not intimidated. Like, people actually say stuff to me and they think they're intimidating me. I'd be careful if I was you. I wouldn't go there. I'd be careful. Really? I'm like 60 years old. I had a near-death experience and I actually literally died and came back to life. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, you were saying what now? Fuck. Get the fuck out of here. This low IQ shit. That's what I'm saying. They keep setting up these ops. They set out stuff all the time. Oh, is he gonna pick it up? Is he gonna do this? Is he gonna steal? When I took a vow, I took these vows seriously. Right? Now I am the warlock. I am the breaker of oaths. I am no longer beholden to any oath with my wife or anyone else. Okay? I am a breaker of oaths. I have reached that level. Okay? And I have to use this kind of majestic language, right? Because it's what I know. And it's because it's interesting. And I don't think I'm harder, smarter, better, faster than anybody, unless you want to go toe-to-toe and find out. And I'm talking about very specific people. These guys were paused and ready to go. What did the guy from the fake Gasoline Alley shoot say? I'm from Ohio. Where's the fake grievance committee from? We're from Ohio. Where did the grievance committee, Linoleum Blown Apart play? At the Warren Tattoo Crew and Ohio. Okay, see, here you have right there. All right, so you know these guys are Fed rats. But they'll share information with stadies. They could be stadies. They could be sheriff. It doesn't really matter. It could be their cousin Bubba. Right? I don't know why I'm putting that back there. I could put it on there. Boy, look at that. Oh, this episode went quick, guys. So when I'm at this fake shoot where they're talking about an asp, right? It's an extending baton. This is something that you use, you walk in the streets, you're kind of paranoid, right? I'm not paranoid as shit. I'm not worried about anything, man. Right? Because it's people that you know who are gonna come at you. And when you got a bunch of strangers coming up to you, it just means that they're just a bunch of gossip sissy bitches. That's what they are. We live in a world of rats now. That's what they are. That's what they've always been. And I talk about this in my book, Two-Legged Animal. Okay? It was a police officer's brother who's running around doing all this incredibly crazy shit. Right? And when they put you in jail, you're just in there with your buddies anyways. It doesn't fucking make a difference. That's what I'm saying. I have the email from this Josh Barnes saying, well, I've been to prison, boy. He's like, what did he call me, woman? I've been to prison, woman. Okay, this is all going on in the after 2018. Okay? So they set me up on this fake shoot at Gasoline Alley. This is the 04 era. This is when they first came to me and said, yeah, we'll put out your record. Jason Clifton is 100% involved in these idiots. They're complete and abject morons. Racism doesn't exist. It's a construct. Why? Because it's only black against white. They don't use any other races. Well, what are the other races? Can you tell us? Are there 4 root races? Right? Why is it that African Americans are allegedly violent? Isn't that the trope that they said when they brought massive amounts of Southern Africans over to the United States to create an infrastructure? When you maroon somebody, what else are they going to do? Right? They're going to start building, they're going to start counting the flora and the fauna. Right? You just maroon them. Now, my kin in North Carolina goes back to Sir Walter Raleigh. Okay? That's in my mother's haplogroup. Right? That's one of the 13 colonies. Right? Is North Carolina. You have Sir Walter Raleigh. And so that's who was mixed in with all the people, right? And so he would maroon people, and he goes, this is one of the famous marooning stories ever, right? He would maroon you, he would maroon them, and then he came back a year later. Hey, what's going on? There's nobody here. Where are they? Huh? Croatan, eh? Well, Croatia, Croatan, it means a mountain, right? The mountainous region. And so some of those people actually went, I think that's close, kind of close to upwards of Tennessee area, whatever. I don't have a map available exactly, but you can look it up yourself. Right? So this is it's one of the earliest colonies. You're gonna drop people off. They're gonna come back. You're like, what do you got over there? Over there? Over there? All we got is a swamp. Boy, you don't want to go over there. A lot of mosquitoes over there. Yeah, what do you got over there? Over there? Oh, we got the forest. The forest is over there. Yeah, what do you got over there? What do you got over there? That's a mountain. What's the matter? Can't you see it? So, and again, they're just naturally going to create this infrastructure here in the United States and elsewhere. That's why they called it the New Atlantis here, right? Because it was manifest destiny to manifest the epiphany, right? They're manifesting what? They're manifesting this country into existence, right? So we have no business making these differentiations between cultures if we're all American, right? So take a look at all this rebop and hubbub over legislation, right? So you have these legislators, right? They're going to pass some bill, okay? This bill doesn't have anything to do with anybody who doesn't live in that state. It's about abortion, or it's about, right, taking a pill. It's about going to see a doctor. Do you see where we're going here? Do you see how infuriating this is? This is making people, because you're dealing with their quote-unquote health. This is a direct threat to people's lives, right? That's why people are getting wrapped up into this. Hey man, you're talking about me directly here. You're talking about my health, my life, right? In case you don't know, I got the jab to get a job, and I'll be nothing but honest about the effects. I was sick for 2 months. 2 months instead of having a cold for a week. Okay, I'm just now getting over it. You can kind of hear it. I'm still a little clogged up here, right? So you have somebody like Chelsea Handler, right? So you have Chelsea Handler, and she hears about some legislation, right? Now, Chelsea Handler, she has a pool here in California filled with water during a water crisis. Take a look at the film Chinatown, guys. Still relevant, right? And she has a house in Martha's Vineyard. Okay. Do you guys understand what level of person we're talking about in the social hierarchy there? So she's going to go around, and she's going to make this little cottage industry. She'll write a book. She'll do a tour. She'll have girl power. Yay. Hey, I'm going to speak for you. Okay, she doesn't even live in that state. Now, do you see how living orthogonally is just this big kind of trick? Right? everything's knowledge through data discovery, right? So you oh, can you get a lot of clicks and a lot of thumbs up? Well, you know, hey, that must mean you know, this is very important to some people, right? When you got a bot farm, right, the game's rigged, right? So the game is truly rigged. Why are people getting involved in legislation in another city that doesn't directly affect them? Right? Why are people getting wrapped up into other people's family and what they do to their children? Because it's a heated emotional issue. And when you take a big step back out of this orthogonal view and you look around you, you can see, man, it's like, I don't really feel this way. These things are all taught. Why is it that racial strife in America is only between African Americans and white people? It just doesn't really make any sense. How can African Americans be violent when they could get them onto a ship like en masse, allegedly, right? The same reason that they were doing it in Northern Europe, right? They were Shanghaiing them. Why did they call it Shanghaiing them? Probably because someone showed them a picture. Well, you know, because we know most of the guys on the ships were men. Okay, you show them a picture of a beautiful woman. Hey, we're gonna take you to this other land. Look at the beautiful women here. See, right? Who were they using? They were using Oriental women to Shanghai the men from Northern Europe. They were using probably Polynesian, I don't want to say that. They were probably using Mesoamerican looking women to get the Africans onto the ship. Hey man, come on over here, man. Look at the women over here, right? And we know this is true because of the Polynesian women who were revered by Gauguin and Moby Dick, Herman Melville, right? Right? All these guys. Oh, and Mutiny on the Bounty. Take a look at Mutiny on the Bounty. It was the same. Right? It was the same idea, the same notion. But anyways, we're into the half an hour mark. I just want to let you guys know a little bit about what's going on. You can see when I do these shows every day, more and more information comes out. They set me up on a fake shoot with Fed Rats at Gasoline Alley in the 04 era, and that's where they first used this tech. And this tech can melt your brain. They melted my brain in 2018. There's ample evidence of this. I had no prior history of looking at all this crazy porno and all this kind of like queer baiting on Craigslist and all this kind of stuff. Never happened before, and it happens in this isolated area. Now I'm surrounded by these morons, people like who I was just working with at these trucking companies. They're coming up to me and like just like this, like staring at me like don't put the beat on me, son. I ain't the one. You see what I mean? But they'll go in, well, you know, listen, we just looked at his scroll history. Look what he was doing. Look at this guy, right? And like I said, when it comes to people that you actually thought you knew, that's the worst. And I want to thank you very much for watching my show, and I appreciate it more than you'll ever know. I don't know how to stop this thing. Somebody stop this crazy thing.